Hello again, everyone. This week's little illustration is a bit different from the ones that I usually do. This is actually the first digital illustration I've done for my channel. Yay. There is also a shorter version of this video that is about a little over 4 minutes long. If you would like to watch that rather than listening to me talk about nothing for 14 minutes, that is cool. I do not blame you. There is a link to that down below. But before I get to talking about anything that I did in this illustration, I'm just going to do a bit of a self-promo. I did this illustration for We Love Fine's How to Train Your Dragon 2 t-shirt design contest. The voting began on August 12th. I'm a bit late posting this video. I meant to post it on the 12th, but, you know, I'm kind of lazy, but whatever. So if you would like to vote for my t-shirt design, there is a link down below, and I would really appreciate it and stuff. And be sure to check out the other designs, because there's a lot of really great designs for this contest. So, yay, self-promo. Alright, now that the little bit of self-promotion is done with, I'm going to get into talking about this illustration. I am going to talk about the process that I went through to color it and stuff. And as you will notice, I missed a huge chunk of the beginning. This is the first time I ever done a screen capture. So I didn't really know what I was doing, and I also didn't know if this was going to turn out to be anything or not. Oh, my cat is crying. Whatever. Stop crying! Sorry. Yeah, so I did not know whether or not this was going to turn out, whether it was going to look like crap or if it was going to look great. So I missed the first part of the screen capture, but the first part that I missed was really boring, so people care mostly about coloring the hair and the face and stuff anyway, so whatever. I'm not too sad about missing out on that. But yeah, I do not have much experience doing digital painting. This is actually only the third thing I've ever digital painted, and actually the first thing that I've ever digital painted that was for me and not for like a school assignment or something. This is just something that I did for fun. It was for the t-shirt contest, but I had planned to do it digitally anyway. I didn't do this illustration for the contest. I just did it because I wanted to, and then I'm like, well, might as well try it out and see if I can make it look like anything good. So, yeah, as I said, I've only done 3 digital paintings. 2 of the other, including this one, the other 2 were done for my production class where we did digital background paintings for the production, and then the animation was in Photoshop as well, and there are pictures of those on my Instagram if you want to see like snapshots of me working on those, so they're up there. They'll probably won't ever be posted online because they were for a production, so you know. Yeah, so it was really interesting trying to figure out what my digital style was, since I haven't really done much digital work. So I painted in the same style that we painted in for that production class that I was talking about, which is kind of semi-impressionist, like oil painty style, which works for me since I paint traditionally in an impressionist style, since I was taught to paint traditionally with oils by an impressionist painter. So this didn't turn out to be that difficult, which was surprising because I thought it was going to be a lot harder than it actually was, and it was actually really fun to do, so that was good. And there's another little funny thing that I forgot to mention. If you have any experience at all in Photoshop, I'm using Photoshop CS 5.5, I believe is what I have. Whatever. You'll notice that the control panel on the right side that has like the layers and stuff is not there. It was there when I screen captured. I don't know why it's not there now. So it kind of looks like I'm just like pulling stuff like out of the air. But there is actually like that selection panel and stuff there. I don't know why it's not in the screen capture, but I don't know if that has something to do that I'm partially using the hand controls on my Cintiq rather than using like a mouse or the pen tool. I use my hand controls, so I don't know if that had anything to do with that. But if I do another screen capture digital painting like this, I will try and figure out what the heck went wrong with that. But this video is so fast that you can't really tell what I'm doing on there anyway, so whatever. So now I'm going to talk about kind of like the step-by-step process that I went through to start working on this digital piece, because it is a bit different from how I work on a traditional piece of artwork. I worked on it the same way that I work on a painting. So the first thing I'll do is I'll start out by having my sketch ready for this particular drawing or illustration or whatever you want to call it. I did do the sketch traditionally in my sketchbook. And so I went and I scanned it in and I brought it into Photoshop and I set the sketch onto a multiply layer and then pulled it up to the very top of the layers, which you cannot see because they are missing. So that's the first thing that I did when I started this, which is what I was taught to do by my animation teacher, who also is the person who taught me to paint. Let's see, what is the next thing that I do? The next thing that I did was I did a really quick tonal study of where I wanted the lights and darks of the illustration to be, which is another thing that I was taught to do when I learned to paint. It's one of the most important things that you should be doing when you're trying to get good balance and stuff in your composition. So I did just a black and white tonal study, and I made my lights, my mediums, and my darks, and decided where those would be. I was not including the background, that red color that's in the background, because it is done on a transparent layer since it was for a t-shirt design, rather than something that was going to actually have that background. So that color was just kind of the color that I would like it to be if it was on a t-shirt. It looks pretty good against that red. It also looks pretty decent against like a gray, a black, and a blue. So the third thing that I would do, which is something, all these things actually were done before I even started screen capturing, and plus since I missed that big first part, you guys didn't get to see that, which I'm kind of sad that I don't have that, because it might have been interesting to somebody out there. But the next thing that I would do is to set up my color palette. I knew obviously what colors I was going to be using since Astrid has a already developed color palette. So I looked at a couple pictures of her from the internets and just chose my colors and then picked like other colors that I would like to work with that kind of worked harmoniously in with the colors that she's already established at. Like there's a navy that I'm using for shading that you can see right there actually. And some colors that aren't actually in her original design that kind of help bring out the depth of the illustration itself. So choosing the color palette is something that is really important since it is what will determine what your drawing will look like. So you can actually see me turn on and off the color palette a couple times because it's on its own separate layers, so I can pick from the colors that I have already chosen. But yeah. Let's see. I wrote down all the stuff that I said I was going to talk about because I always get really distracted when I'm doing commentaries. So I wrote a huge list of stuff that I was going to talk about, and now I am lost in it. Okay, so after I choose... I'm so sorry, I'm so disorganized, you guys. After I choose my color palette, I will take my base colors and I will lay them flat on top of... or on their own separate layer. They're not really on top of anything because they're the base colors. And this is the layer that is underneath the multiply layer, which has the illustration on it. So I can still see the illustration itself. But I'll lay down the flat colors, and you can actually see that at the very beginning of this video. They're just like blocks of color that determine like what, like where the fur is or where her skin is and stuff like that. And I also keep in mind, since I am working with light, mediums, and darks, all the base colors were mid-tones. So, and then I will go in and add the lights and darks later since I already have established what my mid-tone is going to be. Alright, so after all of that is done, I will start going in and doing what I am doing right now, which is adding the detail and putting in the lights and darks that help add contrast to create the figure, since I'm not really doing like line work. I like painting digitally without line work. So I'm not really into that like cel shaded look when painting digitally. I like to paint like I do traditionally with oil paints. So I tried to kind of capture that like really like kind of messy impressionist oil painting style that I do when I'm painting with real oil paints on canvas. And the brush that I am using, I only used 2 brushes for this entire piece because I have 2 favorite brushes that I used for the background painting in my production class, so those are always my go-tos now. But this particular brush that I used most of the time it's meant to mimic like oil paint on canvas. So if you see this, like, I don't know if you guys will ever be able to see it, since I won't ever put the like high-res digital file on the internet because, you know, but it has like canvas texture. You can kind of see it if I zoom up really close. You can kind of see it has like a canvasy texture, which when I found that brush I was like, holy crap, it's so cool. And it was exactly what I was looking for, because I like to be able to see the look of paint on canvas, something that I really enjoy because I'm weird. So but yeah, that's basically all that I do. And then I'll go in and I will start adding details and shading based on where I decided that my light source is going to be coming from. And yeah, I just kind of went at it until I got something that I liked. And yeah, it actually was really fun to do. I would like to do more digital paintings when I have the motivation to do so, because I am lazy. So yeah, so I'm just finishing this up, and since I have a little bit of time left, as usual, I guess I will talk about some other stuff that I'm working on. I am still trying to develop how I want to go about doing that, like, anatomy series that I talked about a couple videos ago, because I do really want to do that. I just need to figure out how I want to go about doing it. I kind of used this video as like a pseudo tutorial type experiment. Somebody is turning their car on outside. I'm sorry if you can hear that. People need to be quiet. But so I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want to go about filming that type of thing. I know that I want the videos to be short, like they'll be like 5 minutes, and it'll be like 2 a month or 1 a month or something, and they'll just be teaching about drawing for animation, because it's not the same as just like figure drawing. Like I know how to teach, like how to give movement and life to drawings, so it's just kind of difficult trying to figure out how I want to go about doing that. But I am still planning on doing that. And I know I always say that I want to do tutorials, but I really, really do want to do tutorials. I think it would be really helpful, and I think that there's a lot of stuff that I could help people with, since I do get so many questions about how to draw things. So I am working on that. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions about whether or not I was actually planning on doing that, and yes, I am planning on doing it. I don't know when. I just have to figure out how to actually do it and how to film it and stuff. Maybe I'll do it digitally. I would prefer to do it traditionally, because I draw better traditionally, but since I'm working on a Cintiq, it doesn't really matter. But I just think it's more, people are driving. If you can hear that, I'm sorry. It's more, I don't know, it feels like more personal if it's done traditionally. But yeah, so that is all the time I really have. If you guys would like me to do more digital illustrations, let me know in the comments and I'll do some more, because this is actually really fun. And last little bit of self-promo, if you like the illustration, please go vote for my design or rate it or whatever over on We Love Fine. The link is down below. And if you'd like me to do more digital art, please let me know. And I will talk to you all later, and thank you for watching.